They laughed when I arrived by bus. They whispered when I wore the same old watch. They called me poor, until one sentence changed the room forever. So, when will you bring your jet to the wedding? I still remember the exact moment my own family decided I was a failure. It was my sister Alina's engagement dinner. A big one. 5-star hotel. Crystal chandeliers. Soft piano music. The kind of place where forks had more rules than people. Everyone was dressed in designer suits and gowns, laughing loudly, making sure the whole room noticed them. And then there was me. I arrived alone. No driver. No luxury car. Just a quiet cab drop-off at the front gate. I adjusted my simple navy blazer, checked my watch, an old one I'd owned for years, and walked in. The first thing I heard was my cousin whisper, not quietly enough, "Why did he even come?" My mother saw me next. She forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You could have at least worn something nicer," she said, scanning me head to toe. I smiled back. "Good to see you too, Mom." Alina didn't even hug me. She was too busy posing for photos with her fiancé, Daniel, tall, confident, sharp jawline, expensive suit. A man my family adored instantly. "Brother," Alina said, finally turning to me. "You came alone?" "Yes," I replied. She raised an eyebrow. "Still single? Still struggling?" The word struggling landed like a slap. Before I could answer, my uncle chimed in, loud and proud. "Some people just don't have ambition. Not everyone can be successful." Laughter followed. Polite, controlled, cruel. I took my seat at the far end of the table. No one sat beside me. Conversations flowed around me like I wasn't there. Talk of investments, luxury vacations, business deals. Every now and then, someone would glance at me with pity. They thought they knew my story. They didn't know I'd chosen silence over explanation. They didn't know I'd built my life far away from their approval. And they definitely didn't know what was coming. Daniel was the star of the evening. He stood up, glass raised, delivering a confident speech about love, family, and joining a powerful household. My family beamed. "This man," my father whispered loudly, "is what success looks like." Daniel finished his speech and walked around the table, shaking hands, greeting everyone personally. When he reached me, he paused. "You're Alina's brother, right?" he asked, smiling. "Yes," I said, standing. He looked at me carefully, not with pity, not with judgment, with curiosity. "I'm Daniel." "I know," I replied. "Congratulations." He leaned closer and lowered his voice. "I've been meaning to ask you something." I nodded. "When will you be flying the jet in for the wedding? Or do you prefer landing at your private hangar outside the city?" The room went silent. Forks froze midair. My mother's glass trembled. My sister's smile collapsed. "What jet?" my uncle asked, confused. Daniel looked around, suddenly realizing something was wrong. "You didn't tell them?" he asked me. I smiled, calm, controlled. "No, it never came up." My father stood abruptly. "Daniel, what are you talking about?" Daniel frowned. "You mean you really don't know?" Alina's voice cracked. "Know what?" Daniel turned to her. "Your brother owns the jet I flew in last month. The Gulfstream. Tail number ending in 7X. You could hear someone drop a spoon." "That's impossible," my cousin said. "He takes buses." Daniel laughed softly. "That's his choice." My mother looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. "You own a jet?" I finally spoke, my voice steady. "Yes." The table erupted. Questions. Accusations. Disbelief. "That's not funny," my uncle snapped. "Are you lying?" "Since when?" "Ow!" Daniel raised his hand. "He's not lying. His company leased us the jet for an executive retreat. I assumed you all knew." My sister's face turned pale. "You're saying my brother is rich?" I met her eyes. "No, I'm saying I'm private." The waiter stood frozen, unsure whether to pour wine or leave. My father sat back down slowly. "What company?" he asked, his tone suddenly respectful. I took a breath. "Arden Aerospace Holdings." Daniel nodded. "Founder and majority owner." The name rippled through the table like electricity. Even my uncle knew it. "That company, they just acquired 3 aviation firms," he whispered. "Yes," I said. "Last quarter." Silence again. My mother reached for my hand. "Why didn't you tell us?" I gently pulled my hand back. "You never asked. You only assumed." Alina's eyes filled with tears, not from joy but from shock. "All this time, You let us think you were poor? I looked around the table, at every face that had mocked me. No, I said quietly. You decided I was. Daniel cleared his throat. So, about the wedding. Should I coordinate with your aviation team? Every eye turned to me. I smiled politely. We'll discuss it later. But inside, something shifted. Because this wasn't just a reveal. It was a reckoning. And it wasn't over yet. After the engagement dinner, nothing was the same. My phone didn't stop buzzing that night. Messages from cousins who hadn't spoken to me in years. Uncles suddenly calling me son. Even my mother sent a long voice note, crying, apologizing, saying she never meant to hurt me. But the silence that hurt most came from Alina. She didn't call. She didn't text. 3 days later, she finally invited me to her house. I arrived the same way I always did, quietly. No convoy, no driver, just me. Alina opened the door with red eyes. Come in, she said. Daniel was sitting on the couch, looking uncomfortable. I didn't know. Alina said as soon as I sat down. I swear, I thought you were just drifting. I nodded. That's what you were told. No, she snapped. That's what I assumed. Daniel leaned forward. Why hide it? You could have shut everyone up years ago. I smiled faintly. I wasn't hiding. I was protecting my peace. Alina scoffed. From your own family? Yes. She stood up, pacing. You let them humiliate you. No. Incorrecta. They revealed themselves. Daniel watched us carefully. He's right, Alina. She stopped pacing. So all those years, the jokes, the comments. I heard them, I said. Everyone. Her voice broke. Why didn't you fight back? I looked at her. Because silence is the best filter. It shows you who loves you without conditions. Daniel exhaled slowly. That's brutal. It's honest, I replied. A week later, wedding planning began. And suddenly I mattered. They wanted my opinion, my connections, my resources. Maybe your brother can help with the venue, my aunt suggested. What about the honeymoon jet? Another added. I declined most of it politely. I offered one thing only, a gift. On the day of the wedding, guests were told transportation would be handled. Luxury buses arrived, then helicopters, then finally my jet. Alina stood frozen on the tarmac, dress flowing in the wind. You did this, she whispered. Yes, I said. For you. Tears streamed down her face. I'm sorry, she said again. For everything. I hugged her. I forgive you. But I won't forget. The wedding was beautiful, but the real moment came afterward. During the reception, my father approached me. I was wrong, he said quietly. I judged you by noise, not substance. I nodded. That's common. He hesitated. Are you disappointed in us? I looked around the room. Laughing guests, shining lights, clinking glasses. No, I said. I'm free of expectations now. Daniel joined us, raising a glass. To the quietest man in the room, who turned out to be the most powerful. I raised my glass too. But power wasn't the point. Peace was. Later that night, as my jet lifted into the sky, I looked down at the city lights below. They called me poor. They had laughed. But wealth isn't noise. It's choice. It's silence. It's knowing who you are without needing applause. And that was the untold story. You just heard a story of betrayal, survival, and quiet revenge. If it left you thinking, hit like, share it forward, and subscribe for more true emotional stories that'll stay with you long after they end. Every click helps another story find its voice.